Hey there, international career seekers. This is Dahlia, helping professionals to figure out their purpose and to land their dream international careers. And what I do, as you guys might know by now, but just in case we haven't met each other yet, what I do is I help people figure out what is their purpose, what is their mission in the world, what is it that they're really called to do that's going to be in line with their skill set, and then also how to magnetize those opportunities so they can get out of those career struggles that we all know and we're all quite familiar with, you know, like needing experience to get experience, being stuck in that sort of rat race, being stuck in lots and lots of competition, not having enough degrees, not having enough, you know, whatever it might be. And so a lot of people are stuck right now in their career, and there are a few things, there are a few people who are not stuck in their career. That exists. It is possible to be in an amazing place in terms of your career, in terms of your success, in terms of having all the things that you want in your life, but the fact is the majority of professionals in this world are not there. The majority of professionals are complaining about a lot of things they don't like about their situation. The majority of professionals feel that they're being underpaid. They feel that they're putting in a lot of effort compared to the kinds of promotions they're able to get, where they're working on stuff that doesn't make them feel fulfilled, that kind of thing. And so I wanted to talk to you about what really differentiates the people who are feeling like they're living on top of the world, they have a purpose and a passion and an income that they love, compared to the majority of people, because it is the majority of people who are not happy with their job. And if you're not happy with your job, you can't be happy with your life. That's just where we spend the majority of our time. And more than just time, that is where we demonstrate our value to the world. That's where we demonstrate what we're capable of and what we're contributing. So it's such a key factor of happiness, and that's why people who haven't achieved the career that they want, like, it really gets to them. And that's where we see people who are depressed, and people who, I'm not saying everyone who's depressed it's because of their career, but a lot of people I talk to have experienced depression due to just being mistreated in the workplace, or just due to doing something that they don't love to do. And so what I'm noticing is that there's really a big sort of a key shift to make, a key mistake that you want to avoid if you want to make sure that you're in that 1% of people who actually love their career and actually love what they do and have that purpose and feel fulfilled. There's just this big thing that the majority of people are overlooking or not realizing, which is what is keeping them stuck. Because everyone wants to have a career that they love, but the majority of people are not there. And so the thing that is stopping a lot of people is that they're just not ready to be honest with themselves. And this is a bit difficult to explain, because when we're lying to ourselves, we don't realize we're lying to ourselves, right? And it's nothing to feel bad about. I think that the reason that we lie to ourselves is that we don't want to admit we have a problem, or we don't want to admit we need help, or we don't want to experience those problems. And so a lot of us go through life doing everything we can to avoid the real problems in our lives. And so we all know we have problems, but oftentimes the problems we think we have are surface level problems, and it's not the real problem. And it's just so much easier, especially with all the work we have to do and the busyness of life and all those distractions and everything that we need to be doing, it's so much easier to just stay focused on those surface level problems and just keep struggling and keep hustling towards trying to fix those, and then never actually solve the real problem. And I'll just explain a little bit more about what that can look like. So, there's always going to be something that's going to crop up, which is going to keep you where you are right now. So the way our brains work is that our brain doesn't want us to change. Even if you're in a terrible situation right now and you hate your job and you have no money and you're going to lose your apartment because you can't pay your rent or whatever it is, even if you're in a terrible situation, somehow it's your comfort zone. So your brain wants to keep you there because your brain thinks, well, at least you're alive right now. So no matter how bad this might seem, you are alive, and so let's just stay like this. which means that as soon as it comes to making a change, your brain tries to stop you from making the change. And so our brains will bring up all of these surface level problems or surface level excuses to distract us from actually figuring out what we need to do in order to make that change. So for a lot of people, you know, that'll come out in the form of, oh, there's just too much competition, or oh, I'm overqualified, I'm underqualified, I don't have this, I don't have that, it's just not possible for me, I don't have the right contacts. You know, you get a lot of these kinds of things. And while I'm not saying that those are not problems, I know that those are serious issues that affect a lot of people for sure. But, you know, all my clients have those issues too, and they're still able to achieve their career goals, right? I've worked with a lot of people who have no experience and have no contacts and are either overqualified, underqualified, and those problems don't hold them back from getting the career that they want, from getting those opportunities in, because there are other deeper problems that are the real reason why they're not getting what they want. And once they solve those, they're able to overcome those more surface level issues. And so sometimes, you know, the brain will come up with the surface level issues to keep you focused on those, or to have you not even try to move forward because you feel like all these things are just limiting you. The other thing your brain will do is it'll tell you, oh, I have no time to do this. You know, this is not the right time. And it's so interesting that it's never the right time. And I know a lot of coaches will tell you, like, the time is now, just make the change, there's never a good time, right? And you're like, yeah, you just want me to sign up to your program right now and not tomorrow. But it's really true, and I've noticed this with the clients I have, that it's not a good time for them either. Like, either they're traveling, or they have some family issue, or they're moving, or there are so many different reasons why it's not a good time. But if they don't make the decision to do this change now, it just becomes a worse and worse time down the line. And that's because the longer you spend stuck in that not so good career space, the longer you spend in something that is not your ideal, the longer you spend in something which is a problem for you, the harder it is to make that change later. And that's because the longer you struggle, the more you start losing hope, the more you start thinking, well, maybe this is just how it's supposed to be. And then when I work with people who have been struggling a longer time, you know, it means that there's a bit more back-end work to do, or a lot more back-end work to do, to undo all of those years of struggle and all of those years of proving to themselves, basically, that no matter how hard they try, they're not going to get there. Because that's what starts registering inside, that you've tried really hard, nothing is working, nothing is going to work, you're just not meant for this. I mean, all of these things add up, and the longer you go without solving it, the more that these things add up, and the harder it is to actually make that transition when you finally make it. And so that's why the more time that goes by, the worse things get. But this is in complete contrast to the way most people think, right? Most people think that the longer they try, the closer they're getting to their goal, which is not the case if you're not using the right strategy in the first place. So that's where we also see people who will say, well, I'll just keep researching and then I'll figure out what I want to do, or then I will encounter that dream job and I will apply to that dream job. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up, guys. Let me know if you have questions as I'm, you know, blabbering on here. It's much better if you have actual questions for me and then I can answer them. So yeah, a lot of people get stuck in researching, right? I'll research and I'll figure out what I want to do by researching, or I'll research and then I'll find out how to get that job. And researching is yet another form of procrastination that our brain will keep us stuck in order not to move forward in the actual direction that we want to go. And because it's easier to run away from our problems, right? Because like we don't like to look at our problems, we don't like to really look at the truth of what's not working and just put it out, lay it out on the table in front of us, look at the truth of what we're not happy with right now, because often we see that as a kind of failure. Like if you admit that something is wrong in your life, it's like admitting to failure. Whereas really, failure is ignoring these issues, right? And not laying it out and being honest about it. especially to yourself, right? I'm not saying you have to go and broadcast your issues to the whole world, but at the very least, you must be honest with yourself. Never, ever lie to yourself. And I know it's actually easier said than done, right? Because how do you know if you're lying to yourself, right? We're actually very good at convincing ourselves that this just doesn't need to happen right now. Or, oh, you know, I'm sure that the next application I do will be the successful one. Or, oh, maybe the next interview will be the one, right? And we're very, very good at convincing ourselves that, you know, our dream life is just around the corner. Maybe if we just try a little bit more, a little bit harder, or whatever it is. If we just do a little bit more research, maybe the next time we're gonna get there, right? And, or sometimes people actually get a job, and at first, once again, they tell themselves, well, look, I got my job, everything's fine. But really, if they were very honest with themselves, they would realize, oh wait, that is not the direction I wanted to go in, or this job is a step up from unemployment, but it's still not my dream. This still isn't what I thought I would end up doing, right? But then we'll justify to ourselves that, all right, it's better than nothing, or, you know, maybe this is pretty good compared to the other people I know, that kind of thing. So you want to really see, am I being honest with myself? Are there problems here that I'm trying to ignore? Is it really not the right time right now, or is there ever going to be a right time? Really lay the cards out on the table and see what is the problem, what is really holding me back. And when you say, oh, the thing that's holding me back is just that, you know, it's hard out there and there's too much competition, and so this is just how it is, it's just supposed to be hard, that is just, you know, that is not a thought that's going to push you forward. Just saying, oh, it's just hard, oh, it's just the competition, right? What is the real reason why you're not able to surpass the competition? Yes, it's hard. We all know building a career is very hard. It's going to be hard no matter what, but it doesn't have to be, it can be hard in the right way, in the sense that you need to commit, in the sense that you need to have a very structured approach. You know, you need to have a strategy, and you have to work hard. You have to go out there and be dynamic and be ambitious, right? It's that kind of hard. But it shouldn't be hard in the sense of, oh, I'm just going to keep trying and hope for the best, right? That is a whole different kind of hard. That's like a doom and gloom kind of hard that doesn't actually get you, sorry, that doesn't actually get you to where you want to go. So you want to, you know, think about that and think about how can you be more honest with yourself about whatever issues you're facing, because you can't solve the issues until you get honest about them. And I guess this is pretty similar in some ways, you know, to people. We all know like that diet mentality, right? Of people who say, yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna go on a diet, and today I'll just eat whatever I want. And the diet starts tomorrow, I promise. Or tomorrow my exercise regimen is gonna start. Today I'll just be a couch potato. And we all know what happens with that, right? The next day is no easier than today, and the whole pattern repeats itself over and over and over again. And it's like Einstein says, right? Madness is repeating the same thing over and over, expecting to get different results. But in the moment, we always manage to convince ourselves that tomorrow is going to be different. The situation will change tomorrow or the next year or whatever it is. Oh, hi, Lee. Thanks for the thumbs up. And let me know what questions you have as you're listening here. So yeah, this happens. I think we're used to hearing about that kind of thing with like daily habits and exercise and all that kind of thing. But this happens as well with your big goals, like your career goals. There's always going to be that voice at the back of your head that tells you the time is not now, or maybe this will be resolved on its own. Maybe you don't need a big change. Maybe, you know, things will just work themselves out. That voice is there, and that voice for the majority of people is what holds them back. It's like sometimes I talk to people who say, oh, I know I'm destined for greatness. I know I'm going to be rich one day, or I know that I'm going to get my dream job one day because I was just meant to do it. And they've convinced themselves, yet the action they're taking is not the action that's ever going to get them towards their dream. But they think just having that dream is going to be enough, that it's just going to appear. And some of these people have really convinced themselves that it's going to happen for them, and yet they don't have a strategy, They don't have an approach. They've been trying for years and they still haven't gotten anywhere. And they just hold on to that kind of false hope, and their brain is generating all of these reasons why, you know, it hasn't happened yet, maybe it'll happen soon. But anyone else they talk to can plainly see that it's not gonna happen, right? Oh, Lee says that's way too true. A goal without a plan is just a goal. Yeah, for sure. But I think what stops a lot of people from getting that plan, you know, we all know a goal without a plan is just a goal. But I think what happens with people is that they convince themselves they have a kind of plan. They're like, well, I'm doing applications, you know, what else can I do? Or they don't have a plan because they don't see how on earth they're gonna get somewhere. And that's where people won't aim that high, because they'll only aim as high as the how that they have. I hope that makes sense. That might sound a bit weird, but what I'm trying to say is that people tend to aim as high as whatever they can figure out. So they'll say, well, I can't aim there because I don't know how on earth I would achieve that. So I'll just aim here or stay where I am right now. And often, if you would just aim higher, there is a how, right? Like, I've helped a lot of people achieve this amazing stuff that they never thought you know, first we had to figure out what they really want. And then right away they say, but I don't know how to do that. And then I say, it's okay, you know, I will tell you if I have the how, and here's how we're gonna do it. And then they can get their step-by-step plan. But first you need to know what you want, and then you can create that plan. And that's why you have to be aiming higher, because usually there is a way. And the way you can know if there's a way is by asking, has anyone else ever done this before, right? And a lot of people, you know, the people who come to me saying, oh, how do you get your job at the UN? That's where I say, well, it's obviously possible because I did it. I'm not special, you know, that I got the opportunities that I got, but there is a way to do it, and here's the how. And a lot of people are not even ready to listen to the how. They just say, oh no, you were lucky, you know, that's not for me. I don't see how I am going to do it. And sometimes they reject the how, like they literally don't want to know how to do it. They just want to stay doing what they're doing right now. And I think a lot of that is because if you aim higher and if you have the how, that means you're gonna have to take action, right? Like, even if you have all of the steps, like in my program, we have all the steps laid out. It's as simple as possible. It's just do this, now do this, and then I guide people and I tell them what they're doing wrong, what they need to do to course correct. But it's not easy, right? It might be simple, the process might be there in front of you, you have the how, but you still have to take action, and you still have to get out of your current comfort zone right now. No matter where you are right now, that is a comfort zone. And a lot of people, literally, it's like they're putting their hands on their ears. They don't want to hear what is the how, because then they're gonna have to make some changes. And the changes are amazing, they're beautiful, they're gonna make your life amazing, but the fact is, you know, our brains are afraid of change, and so the brain will generate a lot of reasons why you shouldn't do it, and then you're not even ready to listen to the how. So the first step to be ready for getting that strategy is actually to get very honest with yourself about what are the things right now that my brain is telling me so that I don't move forward. And just be honest, like I think people get very ashamed of their problems, and we don't even realize everyone has the same problems as us. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. These are just human problems, human excuses our brains generate. It's not that big of a deal, but we take our problems so personally, and we let them become a kind of source of shame that we don't want to tell anyone else, and we certainly don't want to admit to ourselves that our brains are telling us these things, right? Because it just makes us feel like a failure and that kind of thing. And so I'm noticing in a lot of professionals, a lot of shame, especially the people I talk to. They're really ambitious people, they're successful people, and so they don't want to admit that there's any kind of a problem, or that they're struggling, or that, you know, if they keep going the way they're going, things are probably just not gonna work out. And they don't want to admit that because they see themselves as successful, ambitious people, which they are, okay? They're successful, they're ambitious, and yet they let their silly kind of brain excuses hold them back from getting where they want to go. And so the solution here is to say, yes, I am successful, yes, I am ambitious, Now let's take a very honest look at the other stuff my brain is telling me, which generally will be things like, all right, maybe you're successful so far, but you know, this next step, that's too big for you. You can't manage that, no matter how successful you were before. Or like one of my recent clients, you know, her brain was telling her, well, why should you get help? If you're so successful, you should be able to figure this out on your own. And again, it's another excuse your brain gives you to hold yourself back. Because why wouldn't you get help if you get to your goal faster and make sure you have the right process? But your brain would rather you don't have the right process. Your brain would rather you have no plan, so that you just keep trying and you stay exactly where you are right now, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that our brains are always generating stuff. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing that makes you a failure at all. I mean, knowing what excuses your brain is coming up with and just getting clear on those is really the first key to success. Once you see all of the kind of rubbish your brain throws at you every single day, then you can start breaking down all those assumptions you're making, all those excuses your brain is coming up with just to hold you back, and that's where you can start to make your own choices and really get everything on your side that you need in order to properly succeed. And unfortunately, this isn't something that we are taught, and so everyone has all of this shame and all of these problems, and they think that it's not okay to have those problems or okay to have those, you know, those failures, as your brain is probably calling them. And so they just won't even admit to themselves that, hey, I have this problem, now I'm gonna fix it. And I just have to find the solution in order to be able to fix that problem. So, you know, the reason it's so important to get clear on these things and just admit it to ourselves, and we all have them, I have them, you know, my brain is constantly coming up with reasons why I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that. You know, it's everyone, okay? I'm not saying it's you guys, it's not me, it's all of us. And we need to realize, like, we're gonna die, right? Our death is coming up, some of us more sooner rather than later, and it's not to be dramatic that I say that. It's just that it's such a shame that these excuses hold us back from it's not even taking a risk. I mean, the risk is to not move forward. And it's just such a shame we let all of these kinds of problems and excuses hold us back, instead of actually just seeing what is possible for us. Especially for, I know all of you guys who are watching this, like, you wouldn't be following these videos if you weren't very ambitious, if you didn't have high standards for yourselves. And so you're among the people who can achieve something amazing. And it's such a shame to let kind of brain junk, which we all have, but to let that brain junk hold you back. And when I help people, like the people who sign up to my program, they have just as much brain junk as everyone else, okay? They have lots of reasons why they shouldn't move forward, lots of reasons why, oh, maybe I should stay in my job one more year, or, oh, maybe, you know, it's just not possible for me to get to where I want to go. They have all of that brain junk just like you guys. And so the difference really between them is that they just got clear on what that brain junk actually was, and they realized, oh, I don't want that to hold me back. Something as silly as, you know, I'd better wrap up this project, otherwise I'm gonna be seen as someone who's not loyal, right? Or they realized, oh wait, like, I'm sure my boss will understand if I get a great opportunity and I'll wrap up the project as best I can, I'll move forward. Or some people realize, oh, my brain junk is just telling me that I need to do everything on my own all the time, and I should never ask for help. And so I shouldn't reach out, I shouldn't book a call, because I should just have figured this out on my own. And they realize, wait, since when do I have to figure stuff out on my own? What is that gonna change about my life? Would I rather get help and actually get to where I wanna go? Isn't that more of a success mentality rather than trying to do things on my own and hoping for the best? Wouldn't it make more sense to get the plan on my side, to get a strategy, to get help so that I can just actually get successful? That's what a real successful person would do, right? But until you examine these thoughts that are holding you back, you can't actually make those logical choices. And so really the people who I help, who actually join the Accelerate Your Ambitions program, they're always people who have gotten clear on all of those things that are holding them back, and they just decide, okay, I've recognized I no longer want those silly excuses to hold me back. Or I'm saying silly, they're not going to seem silly, okay? They're going to seem like big, serious stuff. I mean, we've had people who have huge family issues, right? Who have family members who are in surgery or who they need to take care of. I mean, that's not silly, that's something serious. But it doesn't necessarily mean that your whole career has to be on hold when you're dealing with all of these life issues, okay? So you need to really examine that and just really figure out, is this an excuse or is this real? I've had people who say, oh, I need to move and find what city I'm gonna live in and then make a career shift. Whereas, you know, when I ask them, don't you want to figure out what you want to do and then choose your city? Like, are those things mutually exclusive? And then they realize, oh no, I can do both those things at the same time, right? Or actually it makes more sense to have the job first and then choose my city or then make the move, this kind of stuff. But our brains will always trick us into thinking you need some other thing to distract you before actually solving your bigger life issue. And that's where also I talk about the problem with self-help or self-care. Self-care is amazing, you know, for those of you who are doing yoga and meditation and trying to take better care of yourselves, that's amazing. However, if you have career issues and you're not in the job that you love, more yoga and more meditation to try to calm yourself down and try to love your life is not going to make you have a purpose and love your job, right? So you can keep doing those things, but they're not going to solve your real career problem. And that's where I've seen people getting totally burned out and mistreated in work, and they're in a toxic environment, they're getting depressed, and they just keep thinking that, oh, I just have to do more yoga, I just have to do more meditation, and I just need to figure out how to accept my situation. When really, you can accept your situation by saying, this is not where I want to be, this is not my ideal, and I'm going to move forward, and I'll keep doing my yoga and my meditation if I enjoy that and if it's helping me you know, feel calmer and whatnot in my day-to-day, but just realize, hey, I don't have to stay stuck in this job that I don't like. I can actually change that, and then the yoga and the meditation can be a complement, but you know, that is not the real solution here. So really the people I help are people who have dropped all of those excuses, and they say, forget about all of that. I want what I want to move forward. And then generally, as soon as they drop the excuses, what happens is that they get stuck on the how. They go, all right, I'm ready to move forward, but I don't know how to do that. And that is, like, after that, it's easy. That's why I've made my program, so that you have the step-by-step, you have the how, you can have that process to know, how am I going to figure out what I really want to do? What is the best fit for all of my skills? How can I get that figured out? We have a process that is going to allow you very, very quickly to figure out what you really want to do. And then once you've done that, we have a process which very quickly is going to start helping you to magnetize those opportunities so that you can start getting those job offers through the door without that kind of, you know, constant application cycle. And if one of your problems is too much competition or lack of experience, all of that stuff, we have a process to overcome all of those things. And it's simplified and all of that, but it's not easy, right? You're still gonna have to make an effort. You're still gonna have to commit to actually following those steps and going through the how. So once you decide, I'm ready to move forward, I'm gonna make this happen, then it becomes very simple. You have the process. But first, all of that other junk needs to be cleared out of the way so that you can actually move forward. Let me know if that makes sense. I am looking forward to your comments. I'll wrap up the video, but then I'll go back and I'll look at all the comments and I'll answer you guys. Just let me know what are some of the things that are holding you back, and we can look at that together and see, are those, you know, real problems, or could it just be brain junk that your brain is generating? And one of the best ways also to get clear on what are real reasons that are holding you back and what are kind of surface reasons is to hop on a career roadmap session with my team. So these are sort of high touch sessions where we get on a call together for an hour, and we discuss, okay, where do you want to go? What is stopping you from getting there? What is the real problem here? And we get to the truth of what is stopping you, and then we create a game plan to see, okay, here are X, Y, and Z, what you need to do in order to get over those issues and actually get to where you want to go. To make that happen now, as opposed to, you know, the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. So this is a really great session to get you clear on what is not working in your career and then what you need to do to move forward. And that first session is free. It's to see where you're getting stuck, to give you that clarity, and then to see if you're a good fit for the how, right? To see if you're a good fit for the Accelerate Your Ambitions program. But first we need to uncover what's going on here, where are you getting stuck, and then if the how in my program is the right fit for you, if I know that the how that I have, my process, is going to solve the problems that you're telling us about, then I'll invite you into the program. And if you're ready to commit to the how and drop, you know, all of those problems that you're dealing with right now, that's where I'll invite you into the program and we can see how we can work together. So if that's you, if you're having career issues, whether it's you figuring out what you really want to do, or getting those opportunities that nobody's giving you, or you're just not happy right now in your job and you want something better, then definitely book one of those sessions, and me or a member of my team, we're gonna get on the call with you and we're gonna discuss and see what is really going on here, what is the truth of the matter, and just get, you know, open up all of those issues, open up what's really happening so that we can then solve it. So you can book one of those sessions at accelerateYourAmbitions.com/apply, and that's going to take you directly to my calendar and my team's calendar, and you're going to be able to book an appointment with one of us. And after that, there's a short questionnaire just to help us to prepare for the call. And then once you've done that call, then we're going to hop on the session at the time that you choose and get to the bottom of what is not working for you right now in your career. Oh, hey, Utkarsh, how are you doing? We talked a while ago. Nice to see you here again. Give me your updates. How are things going with you? Okay, so yeah, and let me know in the comments what questions you have about this. What kinds of issues are you dealing with right now? Where are you right now in your career? What is your roadblock to moving forward? And I will wish you an amazing, amazing day. Summer is coming to an end pretty soon. I know people are starting to get back into job hunting and stuff. A lot of people have been on vacation and all that. And now you guys are like, okay, time to get serious about my career, about this fall, about what that next step is. So I'm looking forward to talking to you. I know we have a lot of sessions already booked up for the next week. So hopefully you can find a slot. If not, just email me and then we'll try to see where we can slot you in on the calendar to make sure that you're able to get one of those sessions and to make sure that we can talk together to see what's holding you back, so that we can get all of you guys some great career momentum starting now, starting this fall. And the sooner you can get that plan and that system, the further you're going to be able to go even over time, right? So the longer upfront, I talked about this in the last video as well, right? About having a system for your career. So the sooner you get that system and that process and that plan set up, the sooner you can get higher and higher and higher goals. And that's why you see people who are successful, they keep getting more and more and more successful generally. Whereas those who are not successful will keep going down that same direction. So if you want to get that compound effect over time that success has in terms of income, as well as in terms of, you know, just the career ladder, or in terms of that freedom, that opportunity, you want to get on that ladder as soon as you can so that you have the benefit of more time, more experience, rather than, you know, just keep trying, and then finally you have your breakthrough in 10 years from now and you're like, oh wait, now I'm starting from here when I could have been starting from up here. Hey Gregory, how's it going? So yeah, nice to see all of your faces here. Definitely drop me a comment, even if you're watching the replay, because I know not everyone was able to be online right now. So just drop me a comment, ask me your questions, let me know what's going on, and looking forward to speaking to you soon. Oh, and if you have any other career issues that you want me to talk about for the next video, let me know, and then I'll try to include that in our next video together. So looking forward to discussing and hearing from you, and have an amazing, amazing day. Bye guys.